Michael is in WA, so we can't do a handover in person, so we're doing a virtual one. Here we go, let's go through and show you all about this camper. All right, let's start at the front of the camper. We have a 50mm arc ball coupling, standard, works really well. All right, and we have your safety chain with your little D-shackle there, all pretty self-explanatory. All right, when you do this up to your car, just make sure that it is latched down. Okay, and then over here we have two plugs. One is a 7-pin plug for your trailer lights and also your electric brakes. Okay, and then over here we have 12-volt input output. So this is a regular input where you could plug a fridge in or any 12-volt accessory. Also can plug a solar panel in. However, make sure that if you plug your solar panel into any 12-volt input or output on this camper, that there is a regulator in between. So just a big one there, very important. Always make sure you use a regulator between the solar panel and the camper. From here we have the arc handbrake. It's brand new. Normally the cable stretches a little bit as it wears in, so it's important to just make sure that you adjust this, which is very easy. Okay, adjust this to keep that tension tight to make sure the brakes are doing what they're meant to do. All right, this is just for your handbrake. It doesn't operate any part of the electric brakes. Okay, from here we have a light duty jockey wheel. Works very well. The only thing I would say that you need to watch out for this is there isn't a lot of room between the handle and the toolbox. So I just lift it up a little bit. You can see this is adjustable. So might want to put a little bit of foam tape or something on there. Okay, I haven't been able to do that. I was meant to, I didn't. So just keep an eye, I don't want that to scratch. When you are stowing the jockey wheel, make sure that when it's stowed horizontal, that this is always up and tucked in upward of the drawbar, not downwards. As soon as you go down that driveway, it'll connect with the handle and bend it. So just always make sure that this is latched up and over the drawbar this way, okay? So over here we have your awesome toolbox, all right? So when you are loading your vehicle, just make sure you're aware of your weights, okay? So with the Jimny, we know that we've got a 75 kilo down weight on your ball load limit. So this really is important, and it comes down to how you pack your camper, all right, to make sure that you've got that all intact, okay? So this toolbox here, even though there's a lot of room in there, just be mindful about the gear that you put in there, because that's going to affect your ball weight. So I highly recommend that you have a scale, all right, and you just pack your camper each trip to make sure that you're in tune, and then hook it up and off you go. Let's keep moving around the camper. Okay, so in your hatch here, storage. We also have some goodies in there. Aluminium guards, very strong. You won't have any dramas with them, but they're not rated to stand on, so just keep that in mind. Amazing Jimny wheels with pretty much brand new tires, all right? So as we discussed, I tuned the length of the axle to allow us a little room for bigger wheels and tires, right? So this is set up for a 235 tire, but I recommend a 215 tire, just to make sure you got enough clearance on the inside of the tire and the camper. We have the hub matched to your Jimny, so you don't have to carry a spare wheel. We can depend on the spare wheel from your car, all right? So good to go. Awesome mud flaps, solid, durable. If you need new ones of these, if you're down the bush and on the track, let me know, I'll sort you out. We've got top of the line, Nava, full submersible lights. They're amazing. They shouldn't give you any dramas. Should be good to go. Down here, we have the arc corner steadies. They work really well. Just pull that handle. Corner steady goes down. Pretty self-explanatory. Here we have a hitch receiver. Now, this is a great accessory to have because you can carry electric bikes, push bikes, extra gear, whatever you want. We can do a wheel carrier on that. But there's one important thing to know. This is not rated for snatching. Over here, we've got your number plate holder, all right? Nice and easy. Just put a couple of bolts in there. Make sure you use a little bit of Loctite on your nut and just bolt them in there. We also have Nava reverse light, all good quality lighting and electrical, all right? As good as it gets. So that should see you having no dramas at all. 12 volt input output, the same as at the drawbar. As I mentioned earlier, this is a great place to connect up an extra fridge or whatever you want to connect up in 12 volt. Just make sure if you do connect a solar panel here, of course, that you've got the regulator in between. Okay, there's 2 Anderson plugs in there, one there, one there. All right, with these hatches, they're adjustable right here. As you're traveling, sometimes you may have to do some adjusting to make sure that the seal remains sealed, so that keep the dust and the water out. Let's look at the electrical system. Okay, I've installed an isolator here, okay, that turns the whole system on and off. So if you've charged your battery, you can just turn it off and it'll be good to go for the next time you're camping. Bearing in mind, your fridge is gonna turn off, all right? A fridge that's off, that hasn't been cleaned, is a problem waiting. So make sure that your fridge is opened and cleaned. All right, even if you just keep the lid ajar, put something in between just to make sure that the moisture doesn't hold inside the fridge when you've got no power to your fridge. Turn it on, it'll beep. Okay, your electrical system is now operational. All right, from here, we have the kick-ass 12 volt accessory box. These are awesome. You can obviously charge USB-C, all of the USBs. You've got cigarette lighter, and you've got 2 Anderson inputs on the side. All right, that Anderson there is feeding power to this. Okay, just so you have a reference point. We've got one left down here that you can literally just add a solar panel in or any 12 volt accessory, but what we're gonna do, make sure you've got a reg between the solar and the 12 volt system. This plug here is your fridge, and this plug here is your sound bar, your kick-ass sound bar. Now, in between this system here and your battery, I've got a maxi fuse, all right? And that is on the other side of the kitchen where the battery is. It's fairly easy to access, but you need to go in and have a look around. I've put it away so it's neat. Over here, you just have storage, all right? And then you've got these little extrusions here where you can actually just put eyelets or eye bolts in there and you can strap gear in there. Nice little setup there for some storage. Bearing in mind, anything that you put in front of the axles is going to have an effect on your ball weight. So be smart about how you pack. All right, let's talk rooftop tent and awning. All right, so we are using the Bushwhacker ST15 rooftop tent, which I think is a fantastic tent. Absolutely so durable, great quality. Now the awning is engineered to be usable in this position when the rooftop tent is closed, and also when the rooftop tent is open. We've actually got an in-house engineered bracket system that allows the awning to be opened when the rooftop tent is closed and when the rooftop tent is open. This is an awesome feature if you are doing long trips and you just want to prepare a meal at the back of your camper. You're not actually staying in your camper, you just want to prepare a meal. You can open your awning without having to open up the rooftop tent. So it's a great feature. I want to show you how that works. You've got a pin, just pull the pin out, put it somewhere safe. We've got a grab handle here. You've got to pull it fairly hard. We're going to clear that bolt and then we're going to flip the awning up and secure it into the next hole. All right. Okay, and then secure your clip back in. Awning is now secured for when the rooftop tent opens. From here, we're going to pop your rooftop tent. There's the pin, there's the arm. All right, make sure it's secure so that the wind doesn't grab it. Always make sure that that pin is in to secure it. Okay, from here we're going to open up the awning. So in this bag is all the goodies for your awning. Okay, this grey bag is awning bag. This is the power supply that will go to your awning, and you have a bunch of ropes. Okay, that's to tie down your awning. You've got 2 thick ones, and I believe you've got 3 small ones. So the 2 thick ones go on the sides, and the little ones are to secure your awning down in case it rains and if it's windy. You also have the drop down legs on the awning, and I'm going to show you those. Also comes with these little pegs so you can secure the ropes into the ground. And you can see there's an eyelet there to secure your awning to your camper, okay? And we're going to tension that up. But first we do one side, then you do the other side with almost no tension, and then you tension it evenly either side. No need to over tighten them. You'll just know when enough is enough, okay? Don't have to overdo it, but they're fairly strong and robust, so you don't have to stress too much. I've tightened them both sides evenly so that there's no creases in the awning. Just some important information when you're packing away your awning. There's a certain way you do it, and I'm gonna run you through that. Come in with one side. You'll see this dip in the middle where the rain tab is, okay? 1, 2, dip, straight up in the air, underneath, okay? And then the rest just folds in, like so. 1, 2, 3. Think of a mountain upside down, the 3 peaks. 1, 2, 3. If you see those 3, then you are on track. That's how it needs to. Then you simply just roll it up, attach the straps, and zip the bag up. Where your rope attaches to your awning. So your manufacturer spec says to attach a rope there, but I just don't know how long that's going to last at that angle. So what I do instead is I just clip into there. All right, so the manufacturer says to go in there, but I put it in here. It just seems like a better place for that angle. All right, so up to you. Manufacturer spec says that, I say that. Use at your own discretion, all right? All right, over here, we have the drop down legs, which I highly recommend using all the time. You just don't know when a gust of wind is coming through, all right? So they are freestanding awnings. They're some of the best on the market, but I always recommend securing your awning down. Not only do you have the legs, but you've also got these gutters. Okay, you put your ropes on there, straight down to the ground in a peg. The awning is facing upward just a little bit. When you get those pegs in the ground and the rope down and your legs down, that'll actually put some positive tension downward, okay, making it nice and level. All right, so there's a method behind the madness. All right, you have a power port over here. Okay, you've got a little box inside your box of goodies that allows you to dim the lights, change from white to yellow. It's fairly self-explanatory. All right, so your awning will plug in here, and then you will need to run the other side to a 12-volt power source. To do that, we've included an Anderson plug to a cigarette female, which is going to plug in to here. That one there, you can see Anderson dual cigarette female. All right, so that'll take care of powering all of your accessories that are cigarette based and not Anderson based. All right, a couple of things about the rooftop tent. Where the ladder is stored. All right, so the ladder is designed to attach to the tent and not come off again. All right, so that means you do not have to detach the ladder. And in fact, if you do by any chance detach the ladder, there's going to be a high point where the ladder attaches that'll actually wear through your tent. So please do not take the ladder off the attachment point. Always make sure that you use this cover to protect the ladder from the canvas of your camper. Now, I would recommend going one step further and even putting like a blanket or some type of fabric protection in there. Okay, we have had this issue before, so I just want to make sure that you guys are aware so that we don't get down the track and you guys have the same issue. So just make sure you protect the rooftop tent from the ladder. The ladder can be sharp, it's got some edges on it. Just take extra care with that. This simply unfolds. We've already had this rooftop tent open for you, but just it unfolds forwards and then the ladder clips in at the front here. Just make sure that your ladder is clipped in before you get on and make sure it's positively clipped in properly. There's nothing worse than going up and falling down, that ladder sliding down to the next level because it wasn't clipped in. And also just make sure that that is supporting the weight of the rooftop tent because that's what it's designed to do. Make sure that this section, once it's folded out, is sitting nice and flat. When you are closing the rooftop tent, make sure you close it with all the windows open. We do not want air to get trapped inside the camper. All right, that will put undue stress on the canvas. So make sure all the windows are open so that the air can escape once you shut it. We've got these to help you when you close the rooftop tent down, just to keep all the canvas nice and neat on the inside. Little numbers here, these are for your tent poles, for your window awnings and your entry awning. There are 2 tent poles inside that have rubber on them. This is for the eyelet in the front of the rooftop tent as you're walking up the ladder to protect the canvas. Make sure you use the rubber ones. Let's talk storage, pantry drawer. Okay, bulk storage in here, good to go. We've got some goodies in here for you. I'm not going to show you, but they're there for you, so enjoy. We've got fire extinguisher in here. We also have a first aid kit in here to keep you out of trouble if you get stuck. Pretty self-explanatory. These have legs that fold down underneath, and inside your drawer here you've got feet and accessories for this. All right, so you also have a sink here. Make sure that the sink is in the flat position before closing, otherwise it can't close. All right, so just bear that in mind. You also have some storage up here. Amazing for all your spices and that. A lot of our customers actually put some foam in here and do special cutouts for all of their gear, right? I did one with tools. I like having all of my bushcraft and mechanic tools just in case stuff goes wrong. I've always got a knife, WD-40, zip ties, all that type of stuff up in here. Now, to maintain all of this stuff, just a little bit of WD-40 in the runners, right? Every now and then goes a long way, just because sand and grit and that get into the bearings and the rollers. So just maintain as much as you can. Just keep some WD-40 handy, and when you're out camping, just give it a little spray. It'll be perfect. This is a great XTM fridge, okay? I don't mind them at all. Very user-friendly. This is a 35 litre. Okay, works a treat. Nothing really to explain. Same thing. Maintain your runners with some WD-40. You do have a slide-out little table here. Okay, this is great for cutting cheese and, I don't know, using it as a little table to make coffee, whatever you want, without having to pull out all of your drawers in your kitchen. So it's a mini little setup table, which is fantastic. The wiring for the fridge goes all the way around underneath the kitchen and up into your kick-ass 12-volt accessory box. Now, your battery is sitting behind this panel here. All right, you got a 100 amp hour lithium battery in there. So this will keep you going off grid for extended amount of time without recharging, but you've obviously got a solar panel that is included in the front box that will keep you charged up. We've got the soundbar here. This is kick-ass soundbar. Absolutely cranks, good bit of gear, and it lights up the whole entire inside of the camper at night time. So that helps if you're parked up in a dark spot. It illuminates the whole camper pretty much. It's remote controlled and works a treat. Connect your phone up to it, and that's all you got to do, and you always have tunes wherever you go. Here you have an Anderson plug to power the inside of your rooftop tent, your lights. I've included a Anderson to Anderson extension lead, which is in your box of goodies, that will plug in from here into here. Okay, and that'll automatically power your rooftop tent. Inside you have a little power cable that plugs in and you have lights. Okay, so it just means you can have 12-volt feed into your tent without having to go through windows and stuff like that. It's all done properly. All right, so let's quickly just talk about camper suspension. This particular one, the Expedition model, it features an eye-to-eye leaf suspension. All right, so it goes really well off-road, goes really well on-road, but it is some maintenance involved. We use greasable shackles, so just make sure every 12 months or so you check those, top up that grease, make sure that everything is running smoothly, get under there, inspect it. Obviously, we can help you with that. If you're coming past our way, we're happy to jump in underneath and have a look, make sure your camper's running like it should. So just keep an eye on that. There's not much maintenance that needs to be done, but just keep an eye on things, all right? And just make sure that before you go to big trips, you always check your wheel nuts. Okay, it should be 110 Newton meters, no more. Make sure that you tighten the bolts in sequence, all right, across opposite each other, and then go around the wheel to make sure that they're all nipped up nice and tight. Your hitch coupler, make sure that your coupler is going down on the ball perfectly and that it's adjusted to make sure there's no slap between your coupler and your ball. Make sure that your chains are always attached, so if any of those things do fail, the chains to rely on. When it comes to aftermarket accessories that we use on our campers, like the rooftop tent and the awning and that, super important to read the instructions of that manufacturer, all right? I may not do the instructions justice, so make sure you go and read those. Another important thing about the rooftop tent and the awning, if you are camping and you're packing up early and there's still dew or water or any type of residue on the canvas, it's okay to pack it up as it is, but when you get home, open it up to dry, right? You don't want to be packing this up when it's wet, because you'll be opening it in 3 months' time to the shock of your life when everything is molded. So just make sure you really are on the ball with packing that rooftop tent up 100% dry. Let it sit in the sun. Alrighty, mate, when you're packing away the awning and we go to put it down into its flat position, there's 2 holes. This hole at the end is to have it on an angle when the roof is open, and there's a hole just underneath the handle here to stow it away when you're driving. That will lock the awning in so that it doesn't flap around while you're driving. So make sure it's always hooked in and pinned down in a position, whether you're driving or whether you're camping. It's always got to be locked into one of those holes. Alrighty, Michael, look who I got over here. All right, congratulations, mate. Well done, Emma. Congratulations to both of you guys. Thanks, Mum and Dad, for collecting. It's been a pleasure doing business with you, and I can't wait to see all of the content and all the photos. And if there's any dramas, mate, ring me anytime, all right? Thanks so much for your business. Take care and have fun.